Unplugged, unfiltered, uncensored. It's Mikey Unplugged on HB Radio, and it's starting right now.
And we're back with El Cockroach.
It's your boy.
So we were just talking about that off mic. How did this El Cockroach thing even happen? What was it like?
Dude, it's so funny that became a thing when I came out of the house, because like the game's 100 days long. And you obviously have no clue what the outside world is seeing, because it's like, what, you don't know what makes an episode or not, or even even the live feeds. And I said that probably 30 days in. So then I was there for another 60 days, and I walk out of the house and everyone's like, El Cockroach. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? But in my, like, the reason I said it was, I was like, I'm a cockroach. You can never get rid of me. I'm going to live in this house forever.
I love that.
Because they kept trying to evict me, and I was like, I'm not leaving. I'm not fucking leaving.
That's the best term ever. I feel like you owned it now.
Yeah, dude, it's whatever.
But that's so crazy. I mean, you were in the house. You said 60 days, right? 60?
No, I was in the actual house 87 days.
87 days.
And then you go to the jury though.
Okay,
so you're still gone. I was gone for like 106, 108 days ish.
Okay, yeah.
Total, yeah.
How is the jury house? Is it boring as hell?
Ballin'.
It's nice.
Oh, it's not, dude. It's different every year. So I don't know for the other seasons. Our house was pimping, dude. It was, dude, if you're not going to win, send me to fucking jury. Like, let me go to the jury house. It was like 10,000 square feet, full basketball court, full, like, incredible pool and hot tub, full movie theater. Oh, they gave us these, like, sick virtual reality toys to play with. Anything. You gave them your grocery list. They went and got you groceries, anything you wanted. It was dope.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, it was incredible.
So Brett's like, yeah, I'm living life, especially coming out of, like, basically, you were quarantined before quarantine was a thing. You were in the Big Brother house. Yeah. So you're coming out of quarantine, you had no phones, no contact with anybody, and then you get this fucking awesome jury house. That's pretty cool.
Dude, it was sick, and it was actually needed, man, because it's, when you come off the show, you think you're okay. You do.
Yeah.
And then 6 months later, you're like, fuck, I was not okay. Like, I should not have been allowed into public like that. Like, you're very, like, you're still in the game. Like, so literally anytime someone's, like, people would come up to me, fans, and be like, oh my God, your season was the best season ever. I'd be like, what's your motive? Like, what's your angle? Why are you lying to me? Like, what's your angle here? Because you think everyone's trying to lie, cheat, and steal. Like, you're like, what's your angle here?
What's your motive? That's so crazy.
Yeah, but that's where your head's
6
at.
months?
You just, probably longer. But like, you look back and you're like, all right, I'm a little bit better now. But I was not okay then. And then I walk off, and first weekend we do the reality TV weekend. Yeah,
that's actually a good point to transition to. The first, actually, we met, Brett and I met right out of the Big Brother house. He got sent to this reality all-star reunion, which I don't know how you even agreed to that or how they got you there. Right out of the house, you went into this fucking mega party in Vegas.
I mean, dude, it's not, like I said, like, I didn't have pop in social media. Like, I wasn't famous in any way, shape, or form, or recognized or anything before the show. And it's 0 to 100.
Yeah.
Immediately. You walk out, and all of a sudden you're fucking Brad Pitt. And a lot of the BB fans know about this weekend, so they come to Vegas.
Yep.
And it's every 10 feet. You're Brad. Oh my God. You're El Cockroach. Oh my God. Oh, every 5, 10 feet. Every single, it's like overwhelming. And at first you're like, this is sick. But then you're like, I don't know what I just signed up for. What is going on?
That is crazy. Yeah, I can imagine that's a little bit intense.
Yeah, well, and most people when that happens, or even like The Bachelor, those shows, because they pre-film and then it airs after. So everyone like gradually watches their growth. Yep. You know, as it kind of comes a little bit more, where our season, it's live.
Yep.
So as soon it is live, there is nothing pre-record. I mean, 2 episodes technically per week, but when you walk off, it's 0 to 100. Everything's thrown at you.
That's intense. I felt like you have more of a outgoing personality than a lot of the cast members from your season. Because I met pretty much, well, everyone that's there I met. I feel like Tyler and Angela weren't as, out there with everybody. They're kind of like to themselves. Well, you and Josh were, I met Josh that weekend too, but I met Josh that weekend. You guys were 2 of the people from Big Brother in general that were just like, hey, what's up? Let's party and do shots.
This is sick, dude. Yeah. Except I hadn't drank in 100 days, so I was like
also
incredible lightweight. I didn't know what I was doing. Yeah, that's why I was kind of going back to the jury house. Like, you have a little bit of time to decompress. Like, I think I was at the jury house for like 3 or 4 days, where like kind of felt bad for like Tyler. Like, he literally was in the house and then walked out.
Yeah.
And he was like, he didn't have those 2 or 3 days. And then he was in Vegas and it was overwhelming. And he's already probably not, as outgoing as I probably am.
Yeah, he seems like a little bit more secluded.
A little more reserved.
Brett's like the life of the party, and then Tyler's like the
That's for sure.
Tyler's like the 30% of the party. He's just like in the corner, like, hey,
I'm just here to pop off, you know?
That's it. Brandy, did you know they don't drink at all? Unless you get it in like the HOH, right?
If you win HOH, you can request like your bottle of wine or no hard booze at all. So if you have a certain beer, you'll get a 6-pack of whatever beer you want. Again, if you win HOH, and then like in the first half of the show, we drank twice. And when I say drank, you have 16 people, and they bring like 2 bottles of wine and like 8 beers. So it's like if you're lucky, you get one beer or you get a glass. But for me, it wasn't worth it. And honestly, I wanted to push the booze on others, so they just start blabbing. Everyone just gets jabbermouth. And towards the end of the show, they do start giving you more and more booze. It's more often.
Oh.
Like first 50 days, I think, again, it was 4th of July that we got booze. And there was like one other occasion that we got. And it was like you got 1 beer. And then towards the end, when the numbers dwindle and everyone's kind of like exhausted, there's no one talking or doing anything other than me running around the house screaming. They just are feeding everyone. They're like, okay. We're like, what? We got booze 5 times this week. But again,
awesome.
It's only like a glass or 2. But the girls, they'd literally like not eat all day, chug 2 glasses of wine and be wasted.
That's great.
Yeah,
So,
you got to do what you got to do.
Brett's like, I'm taking advantage of this. I want to know everything you want to say.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me
Absolutely.
everything. That's crazy. Another question. I saw a lot of people online always ask this and wonder, when you're in the confessional thing, are you fed questions? Like, are you talking back with somebody? How do you know what to say?
Right. So like I said, at the end of the day, it's a TV show. So you'd be naive to believe if there's no producer influence. But it is still your words. Like, It is still you. I mean, they obviously ask a question like, hey, how are you feeling about this?
Okay.
How do you, and it's up to you how you want to word it. So if you're naive, you can definitely be guided.
Yeah.
But if you're aware, you can't. So I would personally say myself, like the first couple weeks, I just kind of did whatever they told me to do. They were like, hey, what do you think about this? Hey, what do you think about this? And I just did it. And I don't know what clicked, and it just did. And I was like, I don't want to say it that way. I want to say it this way.
Yeah.
And you can put your foot down. It's just, you just have to be aware enough to know what's going on. And then it's funny how that happened, because based on the perception, everyone hated me the first couple weeks. And then everyone kind of, like, once I was like, no, I don't want to be just a douchebag. I want to be a lovable douchebag.
Lovable. You were the bro. You were the bro of the house.
Yeah, but they like don't get me wrong. I'm very bro-y. I'm very douchey at times. So it's kind of, again, it's a lovable douchebag. I feel like in the beginning I was just portrayed as this like meathead douchebag, and they didn't show any of the lovable side.
Well, speaking of bro, you had another bro from the show, Winston.
Yeah, that's my guy.
So what's going on? You guys still bros?
Yeah, I literally at least talk to Winston at least once every other day, probably every day. Yeah, I'm in communication with him constantly. Yeah.
How important was that to have somebody in the house that you relate to and can talk to about like normal shit outside of just the game?
The problem is it's a death sentence in the game, because once you get close with someone, that's what happened. Is I was completely naive, knew nothing about the game, didn't think, oh, I don't want everyone to know I'm tight with Winston. And then as soon as everyone was like, okay, you two are obviously working together, we're going to put you on the block next to each other.
You're a duo now.
You're done. You know, and that's actually what saved my game, was Winston getting evicted. And I ended up lasting another 60 days from there. He got evicted on day 30. I ended up, another 57 days from there. So, and it's tough, man. It's tough, because I did completely open and confide. He taught me everything I knew about Big Brother. Thank God.
That's good.
Yeah, he helped me out, but then he got kicked out, which sucked. And then moving forward, I was like, I gotta be the lone wolf.
The El Cockroach. I love that. No, that's cool. I was actually thinking about that for this past season. I think Davon and Bailey on Big Brother All-Stars,
Yeah.
I think their alliance was their death sentence too.
For sure.
I think that shouldn't have been, because now you look like a duo in any way, shape, or form. Like, they see it.
Yeah.
You guys are hanging out together all day. You're a duo.
Yeah.
So you're gonna go on the block.
Yeah.
So do you think that, like, that's their death sentence too? Because I feel like this season.
But I get it, man. It's you're losing your insanity in there, so it's hard to not confide in someone. You're like, I just need to talk to one person that's a rational human being right now.
Okay.
But then you're screwed, because so Derek and Cody. So Cody, who just won this past season, they were the hitmen in their season.
Yeah.
Derek ended up winning. But I was talking to Derek after about it. He's like, dude, me and Cody didn't hang out in the house. He's like, I'd come check in on and be like, hey, we're so good. X, Y, and Z, awesome. And they wouldn't hang out at all. And that's how they ended up at final 2.
That's smart. But I mean, I guess you got to be aware of that the whole time.
Right. You got to know what you're doing walking in. Yeah.
Speaking of this season, how did you think about your buddy Tyler's performance? You know, that's your guy from your
that
show.
was my guy. I from the beginning, my prediction was either Tyler or Cody were gonna win.
Okay.
And then my validation of that was when Ian was evicted, they asked him, they said, Ian, who do you think's running the house right now? And Ian's a good player. And Ian saying Cody and Tyler are running the house right now.
Yeah.
Obviously, once Tyler went, I was like, I think Cody's gonna win. But I think Tyler did good, man. I mean, I'm proud of him. I think that what hurt him this season was that I think his head wasn't in the game. His head was Angela at home.
Yeah, I agree.
It's easy when you're single and you don't have to worry about that as much. But I guess when you have a significant other, I just don't think he was like 110% in.
Yeah, I feel like his head wasn't all the way there, especially with the constant like, I miss Angela.
Yeah.
Like, that's cool and all, but dude, you are there to win money.
Right, exactly. You know, so I think that ended up hindering his game. But I get it. Yeah, love is love, baby.
Brandy actually had a question that you told me to ask him. I don't know if you even know about this, but if you were in Cody's position, would you have evicted Kaser and Janelle? Would you have went for them in the beginning?
It's funny you asked me that because I had never met them. I recently met Janelle.
Okay.
I love her.
I love her. She's awesome. So
would that have been a friend in the house?
That would have been a friend in that. So it's tough. So prior to meeting Janelle, absolutely. What do you mean? Janelle she's been a dominant player in the game forever. So obviously, and it's an easy explanation. Hey, you've been on the most seasons. You've done the best in the game. Why would I not? Especially this early on in the game. 2 phenomenal players. So I understand why he went after him. But now I'm like, shit, man, I probably would have worked with Janelle.
Yeah.
Because now meeting her,
smart, man.
Super smart. But I understand the intimidation factor. So maybe if you want to go that way, but everyone's game is going to be different. You might not vibe with someone the way someone else does.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I get it. But Janelle seems like she's fucking cool as hell.
She's cool as hell, dude. Super cool.
Did you get drunk with her? Did you get drunk with Janelle?
We did. We
did.
Yeah,
I'd say, needless to say, you made an impact on Big Brother 20. You didn't win the show, but I feel like you definitely won viewership. I was fans.
Yeah, I was runner-up for America's Favorite Player.
Yeah.
Again, didn't know what that was, and it was funny, man. I think being oblivious actually kind of helped me at times.
Yeah,
there
so
were times where
thinking.
People overthought things, and it's so easy when, again, you're locked in this house 24 hours a day. There are no distractions. You don't have TV. You don't even have music.
I know.
You have nothing. You can't even read something.
You're not allowed to write anything down, right?
You're not allowed to write anything down at all, dude. You can't. It's a total mindfuck.
So going to that point, Brandy, she watched her first season of Big Brother, this one of Big Brother All Stars, and I told her because she's starting to realize you got to remember shit.
Yeah.
She's like, well, why don't you just write stuff down? You can't. They don't give you pens.
I'm literally not kidding. We had cereal boxes. And we would take the cereal boxes and we would put them in the bathroom as reading material. Just because you just need like mental stimulus. You're like, dude, like I literally am forgetting how to read. Like I like need to like keep up with it. And it was by the end of the show when you're so narrowed down to the numbers and you're only talking to each other, you literally almost have your own language. Like you'll say something that doesn't make any sense, but you're like, yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Like it's crazy.
Man.
That's crazy. So also, I wanted to actually ask you about this, but now that you didn't really watch Big Brother before, how much did you think about like the live streams? Did you guys think about them in the house? Like, did you not do something because you know Big Brother's watching?
Yes and no. I mean, like you're on camera, so it's like you gotta always be aware of what you're doing. I mean, again, there are no blind spots in that house.
Yeah.
There's not a single blind spot. So if you want to get changed and you don't want the entire population to see you naked, then you would have to like crawl under the bed and like get changed in there or get changed in the bed. Like there really are no, even the toilet, there is a camera. There's a guy there sitting right there that whoever it is, watch me go to the bathroom every single day. Like,
What?
But the reason being is that it's kind of like an unwritten rule. Hey, don't talk game when you're in the bathroom if you don't want it to be on camera.
True.
If you want to go hook up with someone in the bathroom or go talk game, like it's gonna be on camera.
there.
It's gonna be on camera. So if you don't want that on camera, don't talk game when you're in there.
That is unreal. So I mean, that's a lot of good footage in the bathroom.
But most people don't know that. They're like, oh, why don't you just go to the bathroom and do this, or why don't you go to this spot? There are no blind spots in the house. They've been doing it for 20 plus years.
Yeah,
there isn't a blind spot in that house.
They have it down to a science.
Yeah.
That's so cool. So also Big Brother 20, Brandy, you've been watching a little bit of his season. She actually went back to watch.
Oh no!
I didn't tell you this. She went back to watch. So there's a cast member on that show that Brett just had like the biggest feud ever. She self-proclaimed, called herself rock star. Her name was Angela. And I need to know, was the beef real? What was this?
For me, it was never. Don't get me wrong. We are not two people that would ever be friends in the real world.
Okay.
It is what it is. But there are plenty of people that I don't have beef with that I wouldn't be friends with. For me, it was always game.
Yeah.
And it was kind of playful banter. And it was like, yeah, we shared a unique experience together. Not many people have shared that experience together. So for me, every person in that house kind of holds a little place in my heart because it was such a unique, stressful, crazy experience. For me, it was always game.
Yeah.
Again, I didn't think we were going to be best friends, but my thing is I would make a game move. I'd be like, hey, Rockstar voted this way. And she would take it completely personal. And she is just not someone who could separate game and personal, which is kind of what happened with Nicole this season with Cody.
I know. I felt like she became so involved in it personally that I felt like anything she did, like, oh, it's, she's my ride or die. Like,
I get it to an extent. Don't get me wrong. Emotions are high. And like I said, it is the most unique experience. And unless you've done it, you'll never really understand. And it's hard. It's hard. You get close. Like you emotionally get close to each other. And you literally, and as these numbers dwindle, you're at 16 people and then you're at 10, and then you're 8, 7, 6. And these are the only people you know.
Yeah.
Like the first 30 days, you think of the outside world. You're like, hey, I know exactly, it's Friday night. I know where my friends are.
Yeah.
It's Saturday or it's 4th of July. I know exactly where my family's at. Around the 30-day mark, you you start to forget about the outside world.
That's
and you're
crazy.
Like, it's eviction night. It's veto day.
Yeah.
And your entire mind is so consumed by the game that's all you like, don't get me wrong. You're like, yeah, I miss my family, but like, it's not the number one thing on your mind. It's kind of the secondary thing. And you get put into this world. And then these 5 people are your family.
Yeah.
That's all you know. You don't see or speak to another soul. And that's all you know. So then when you get evicted, you're like, oh, sick. My entire family just literally evicted me. Sweet.
That is so wild.
All right, we're gonna get back into it. I asked Brett, who he listened to growing up as a hip hop fan. He told me he likes 50 Cent. So we're gonna dive back into the mix with DJ Heartbreaker. I got a few more questions if you can hang around.
All right.
So DJ Heartbreaker, I want to hear some 50 Cent. I need something that relates to Brett's childhood.
Let's do it, man.
All right, let's get back in the mix. We'll be back in a second. And we're back. We're back. Brett is still here. I got a few more questions for him, and then I'll let him go home or something. You live in Vegas now.
Currently I am living in Vegas.
So yeah, he's gonna go home. It's crazy, right? So now that you live in Vegas, is it everything you thought it would be, or is it different?
Oh man. No, I mean obviously it's a weird time with coronavirus and whatnot. So it's not everything I thought it would be, but it's more than I expected during the time.
Yeah. I mean Vegas. I've been here for 7 years now, and I can tell you Vegas is intense at times.
Yeah. It never stops.
Every time, I mean, we were just talking about this weekend. How was Halloween? Actually, was it good for you?
Dude, it was popping. I had a great time. I had a phenomenal time. And the odd thing is, it was we did the pool party during the day, and it was. I mean, it's almost November.
Yeah.
And it was the most bumping that I've seen in probably 3 months.
That's the best part about it is bragging rights. Living in Vegas, bragging rights, where you could be like on Instagram, like tag yourself 80 degrees, bitch, and it's like November 4th, and you're like, what the hell?
It was snowing in Boston the other day. Yeah.
No, it's crazy. How's your family? Family's enjoying the cold weather.
They're good. Well, no, they're going down to Florida, so they do the snowbird thing. They're in Connecticut right now. They're gonna head down to Florida. But they're good, yeah.
That's very similar to what the people in New Jersey and Philadelphia do. They all go to the Florida.
Yeah, dude. They're like, I'm out.
Florida's open, so.
Yeah, dude. It's everything I've seen online is Florida's like the Wild West right now.
It is. They're just, you know what? They're just saying, fuck it, and we're gonna do our own thing. And if we die, we die.
Yeah.
You know what? I mean, at this point, it's like I feel like we've done all we can.
I agree. I'm ready to go back to the real world.
I know. Brett is ready to go. He's revved up. So a couple more Big Brother questions before we get out of here. Nicole. So Nicole and Cody, do you think she was bitter as fuck at the end?
Yes. Yes, she was definitely bitter. She was very bitter. She was very bitter.
She unfollowed everybody from the show on every social media platform.
Listen, I understand the initial reaction. Like I get you can't control your emotions in the initial reaction, but at the end of the day, you signed up for this.
Yeah.
It's a game. It is a game. Now, if Cody did something personal, for sure, I get it. He made a game move. He didn't do any personal attacks. It's what he had to do to win $500,000. Everyone knows the rules when you sign up.
Yep. In his position, would you have taken Nicole or Enzo?
In his position, I mean, I would have done what Cody did. He did what he had to do, and he won.
Yeah, I would have taken Enzo too. I feel like you're taking a previous winner. That's kind of stupid.
For sure. And Nicole, I would say, had a better game than Enzo. So he said, calculation, who do I think would I have a better chance of winning against?
Yeah.
And he took Enzo. He made the right decision because guess what? He's got $500,000 in his pocket now.
Hell yeah. I mean, that's fucking crazy.
It's insane. It's insane. So I would have done what he did because he made the right move.
Yeah. I agree. Brandy, who would you have taken? Oh, sorry. I got to turn your mic on. I shut her up for a minute.
I would have taken Enzo.
Yeah?
Yep, for sure. 100%.
This is your first season of Big Brother that you watched, so was it everything that you wanted it to be? Or did you need Brett on All Stars? Because I needed Brett on All Stars.
I don't know. After watching a little bit of a season 20, I really think that he would have done great in this season for sure and made it way better.
I appreciate
The
that.
people watching right now, I know, the people watching on there, people listening, I know that they want Brett on fucking All Stars.
Listen, man, I didn't get the call. I would have loved it, but it's a weird time. I think it's a weird season for you to start, though, starting on an All-Star. You got to go back and watch like a regular season with all raw new, because it's a totally different dynamic. These people are walking in, they're friends outside the house. Like, they know each other.
Yeah.
And whether there was a pre-gaming or not, I have no clue. All I'm saying is that there are like if Mikey and I walked on the show together,
It would be,
we're fucking working together. like, you know what I mean?
we're a team.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
So it's a completely different dynamic than if you watch like a Raw new season.
Absolutely. That's why I told her to go back and watch your season. I think it's important to see that dynamic because pre-gaming, I don't know if it happens or not. There's a lot of speculation that it does and it did.
Listen, man, I can tell you this. Around May, every single year, I get phone calls from people I haven't heard from all year. Hey, buddy, what are you doing this summer? Hey, buddy, what's going on? And there's no reason to because it's not like I'm going in. But anyone who's smart keeps in touch with people that they're friends with that have been on that they think could potentially go on. They make their yearly rounds. You'd be naive to think that people, and again, whether you're pre-gaming or not, if I walk in the house and Mikey's there, we're already fucking buddies. Like whether we pre-gamed and planned it or not.
You already have a dynamic.
Yeah.
Would you go back on the show if asked?
Depends on the show.
All Stars.
I'm in.
Yes. That's what I wanted to hear. I think that's important. I think people like you are who people want to see on the show. I don't think the boring, the people that are laid back. I want big game moves. I want people that are excited to be there.
Yeah,
There's people that didn't even want to be there this season.
You get one shot. You get one shot at this. I'm an all or nothing. I committed to it. Like I was saying earlier, you don't know what's gonna work, but you just got to try something.
I agree. Big game moves, I think, are what makes the show memorable and people want to keep coming back. Last Big Brother question: what do you think about these giant alliances? Like, do you think that they're good for the show, or do you think that it's better to not have them?
I get it, and it's tough, man. It's because when you're in there, it's like you don't want to rock the boat too much, and it's easy and it's comfortable, and everyone's going, how can I make sure I get the farthest? What's the smartest game move? But at the end of the day, you also, so from a viewer standpoint and a game standpoint, a lot of people would say, for example, like Casey, they didn't like Casey's game style, but she fucking won. So who gives a shit?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, and it's not that she didn't like her game style, but like she was very quiet. Casey's not super loud, outspoken, sweetest, kindest person you'll ever meet. But from a TV standpoint, you're like, I want to see things get shaken up. Like, I want to see some rowdy stuff going on.
Yeah.
But from a game standpoint, you're like, dude, at the end of the day, I just got to win the money. And you can't take that away from her because she has $500,000 in her bank account.
I agree. I hate that the viewers and the fans online they get so like involved and so invested that it becomes like personal for them.
Yeah.
They get pissed off at you guys as if they fucking know you. And like,
dude,
what the fuck?
You have no clue until you're in there, like what it's like. It's night and day what you think. And if you think you're like, hey man, I got this conniving plan. I'm going to go in here. I'm going to do it. You get in there and you get punched in the face immediately. You're like, fuck, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, I hate this. I would have did this. I would have did that. You wouldn't have done shit because you're not on the show. And that's what these fans don't get it. I'm a fan of the show too, but I'm also friends with a lot of reality TV. From being in Vegas, I know everybody. I know how reality TV works. I've been on the fucking shows and stuff. You don't know what the fuck you're doing. Whatever you think you're doing, you're not doing. Like,
Right.
bro, we're just trying to win a show.
Yeah.
That's it. We're just out there.
Yeah.
I watch TV for entertainment. I don't know about you.
Right. For sure.
I don't watch
for
the
sure.
Green Arrow and then go tweeting Stephen Amell like, you shouldn't have fucking shot that guy.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what the hell? Like, bro.
I get it, man. I get it.
So what's next for Brett, man? What's going on? What's next for him?
Well, my journey here in Vegas is coming to an end shortly. I'm starting a new job, moving to Texas. Date, haven't figured it out yet,
Okay.
but I'm pretty excited about it.
That's cool. So you're leaving me? That's it.
Come with me.
Brandy, you want to go to Texas?
Hell yeah, I'm down. Let's move next week.
Can we open a studio in Texas, Heartbreaker? Can we open a studio? No?
Hell no.
I need a second studio.
What?
All right, that's it.
Yeah, it'll be back and forth.
I
We'll
can go back
travel.
and forth.
Sure. Anything for you, pal.
Thank you. I appreciate it. All right, well, Brett, I really appreciate you coming out and doing this. It was fun. I had fun.
I had
You
a blast,
fun?
man. Thank you for having me.
Hell yeah.